Okie dokie. I'll do an intro in like a few minutes. I'm just getting my desk set up here and see if anybody joins in the chat before I kick stuff off. But then we're gonna do like big guy stuff today. Kicking stuff off. Ooh, I can't tell if the microphone's being on my speakers or not. I gotta give the boy his own chair or else he takes my chair. This guy. But for anybody who's new to this stream, my name's Max. I've been making like an arcade game called Nightshift Galaxy, where you're like a little robot, always turn into a jet. And you can see we've got these like sort of regular size, regular they're all like a little bit bigger than the player. So it's like tanks and jets and things. There's also like an enemy commander over here who's like 3 or 4 times bigger than the player. And so now I'm going up another step size and making these like Godzilla-sized characters. This is like an enemy that we already made for our trailer and for a demo scene that we've been showing. It's just this sort of like 4-legged spider thing. I was gonna, you can see I duped another island over here. I was gonna start just thinking about really quick mocking up a bunch of other really big level scale enemies, just to sort of show the variety of stuff that will be possible, since we're trying to pitch at GDC to try and find some funding or collaborators, and so we kind of want to whet people's appetite. So yeah, here, let me just open up. So let's make a little idea board here. I think we could have like a chicken walker kind of thing, which has got like a triple jointed leg. I've kind of drawn an at. Probably like some type of like caboose, and then some angry eye cockpit up there. I'm just trying to get like a bunch of ideas out real quick. We could have like more of like a centipede, which has like lots of segments. We could have like a more like traditional like mech. One Slug asks about a slug-like robot, which sounds on brand. One Slug says there can be eyeballs for weak points. So the way that our system works is, I can show you. There's this like coordinate system down here. This is like the root. This is like the AI controller, and then all these other pieces: the head, the limbs, the shoulders, the spine parts. These are all like separate, like independently smart pieces. And then it basically, like the root controller just looks at everything that's been nested under it. What did I call it? And then like just sort of auto generates gameplay based on that. So like if I go into my props folder, I go down to common mecha stuff. Yeah, we have the mecha hit point here. So like if we drag this out into the scene, and then I like attached it to the head, move it around, and then I like maybe like made a copy of it. There's like two goofy eyes. The whole thing explodes. So that's kind of like the modular design. So we can sort of style the hit points differently, but we already have like a system for just like making hit points. You can see if there's no hit points, a piece of level geometry that like, happens to be aware of you and happens to gone away, so he's gonna lose interest and he's just gonna sort of wander around their little island. But yeah, so what would like a slug look like? I mean, that one's kind of tricky because it has like a ton of like surface area in contact with the ground, right? Be like a bunch of eyes. I'd have to think about how to break that one up into. That one might be tricky because like for like the chicken walker, I can be like, okay, I can make a leg, and then I can make like a cockpit, and I can make like a backpack, and then we can do a bunch of remixes. This one is like one big piece. You know, maybe there's just like some like limbs that little limbs we attach on the front, but we'll keep it in the idea hopper. So yeah, we can do like a kind of like just normal standing guy sort of thing, like a boring like BattleTech kind of like Destroid type mech. There can be like a Like, we could segment up the slug and make like a sandworm, where we just have like lots of. It's kind of like this centipede, but without the legs, right? We did a kind of we did an enemy like this in Solar Ash. The first boss was like a big serpent, and we also prototyped some other serpents. Let's see. One slug says maybe something like a magma worm in Risk of Rain. Let's look that up. Magma worm, Risk of Rain. Okay, yeah, this is like a bunch of segments. Be like a variant that's like more of like a, I guess like a dragon, if you've got a bunch of those segments, then you've got kind of crocodile jaw like that thing had, but then you could also like throw some wings on it. Also like maybe have some like dangling bits. I'm kind of like, for like, since like we're auto-generating like the locomotion and stuff, I'm trying to stick to like insects, like, or like aliens with carapace, or like kind of like hardware, right? Like this is like a big piece of hardware, like a big Metal Gear looking thing. Just because it's easier to modularize those, it's easier to make variants, and like if the animation's a little wonky, that's no big deal because it's supposed to look wonky. So we can have, let's come up with like 2 or 3 more concepts before picking one, just so we have like a nice palette of things to consider. What are some other like, there's some other like battle tech or like Macross kind of stuff. Macross, Destroyed. There's like these rifleman guys. We got these like walking dudes. Destroyed Defender EX. What is this from? Oh, that's why it's Macross 2. Callum Moore didn't design that one. That's why I don't know about it. There's your classic guy. This one's like kind of fun from like a gameplay standpoint because we can have these like excuse to do like a missile barrage kind of thing. There's the monster. One slug says praying mantis. So a praying mantis that's got like like a bunch of limbs down here, right? Little booty. Scorpion. Okay, so Scorpion, it's got that same sort of like, it'll have like a little body, a little crab body. It'll have a head that's like low to the ground. But then you have a bunch of things going up to like a big tail. It's got like a spike guard on or something. Okay, yeah, let's make a scorpion mech, I guess. Scorpion seemed like the most interesting. It's definitely, it seems different enough from this guy. I'm just gonna be making it with like low poly like cubes and stuff today. It's not going to be like detailed with all these kit pieces because I just want to focus on like the proportions and the animation and the collision. I don't want to get like too dragged down in like sort of art details, especially since like even this dingus is like temporary. I just like found some generic spaceship parts and like kit bashed them together. Like we're like interested in like finding an artist we can collaborate with who's got like 3D pipeline experience, and then we like can like really dial in what they look like. Anyway, so let's like make a folder. Put all these ideas in there. Oop, missed it. Then we can make a new layer. Let's like break down the actual pieces of like a scorpion. Let's look. Is there a cool like scorpion neck? How have other people thought about this? Okay, so you've got like basically these kind of like pentagon or hexagon shapes. You have a bunch of things in parallel. You got like, oh, they got like the claws and the tail. This is one that's got like the tail as a gun. This one's got like a chunkier body and a thinner tail. This one's like really focuses on the arms. This one's like pretty flat. This one's almost like a pill bug. This one's like extremely chunky. This one's more like a centaur. This one seems barely a scorpion. I guess it's because it's got this tail thing driven down underneath it. Yeah, I kind of like this. This kind of like makes me think of like Metal Gear, like Ghost in the Shell. It's got like little legs, but it's also got the big legs. Yeah, this is another one that's like a centaur. Okay. I think I got a pretty good sense of like what other people have done. Let's do our own thing. So we can say like there'll be like a main body, and then there will be like a sort of a main attachment point for the tail, and then like I'm trying to think, what do we want to have? Those really big chunky legs out front, and then some like smaller legs in the back. We can have a head that's pretty low to the ground. And then off of this sort of like hindquarters piece, it's like a gun. Let's see. I'll grab this bit and made it like a little smaller. I'm just trying to like broadly figure out the proportions here. Okay, what if this is actually not like a little triple jointed praying mantis thing, but what if this is just like has like it can have a part that goes up, and then it just like has like a claw that sort of goes into the ground. And then we can slant this part down here that goes down to like the head. My drawing's getting confused. try and draw this like from the front. So you would be seeing this thing like this, and then there's a head, and then there's these big arms. Where they have these like other legs. Okay, I think spatially this makes sense. Let's go to, let's just be weird and just go straight to Maya. Maya's a 3D program, and just start like laying out some cubes. You can't see it, it's loading on my other monitor. I'll bring it over to you. Okay, here we go. This is a brand new Maya scene. It's got all the defaults, so usually the first thing that I do is change the camera settings a bit. Basically because Maya likes to work basically in like feet and yards and stuff, like human scale stuff, but we're making a big thing. Plus Unreal uses like centimeters, so like, you know, 100 units for a single meter, so it's actually like bigger than the cameras are usually expecting to see stuff. We can always scale it when we bring it into the engine. I just don't like scaling it too much. So, bring a cube in. We will, on the inputs to it, we're gonna bring it in 100 by 100 by 100. So in Unreal, this is a 1 meter cube. It just looks big relative to Maya's tiny grid. So now, we can look on the side here. Start just trying to think about like how to get that, is that like main body of the Scorpion. Actually, there was that one, I'm wondering. We'll just keep going this way for a while. Body a little larger. Make the head about as wide as the body. This sort of base of the tail. I can sort of point backwards a bit. Segments get a little smaller. Make those big front legs.
trying to think about this.
Is this guy gonna work? What's missing? I'm not too hot on these, like, big front claws. I mean, I kind of like them, but I don't know. Do we like this guy? Do we like these proportions? I still feel like something's off about it. I mean, it is using like quite a lot of space. everybody. Okay, I'm not super satisfied, but I can noodle with this forever. But we're coming up on the halfway point, so I'm going to break this into pieces. I'm going to rake the pieces. I'm going to import them, and then we'll set up the mech and see where that gets us. Scorpion tail. We can have scorpion big leg. We can have scorpion little leg. Scorpion chassis. Excuse me, scorpion head. So let's see, scorpion tail. We come in here and we delete everything that isn't the tail. I keep like duping joints and then putting them back in a hierarchy, but I feel like there's a better way to do this. It's like extrude. Create joints, right click and drag to move the last in the view. Okay, skeleton, create joints. This is what I wanted. Last joint, aim along that turret, and then we'll make one last joint. Repair it. There we go. This will be like a muzzle. Bind the skin. This basically makes the mesh transform with the skin. So now we can like grab all these joints and like weird how that's angled differently. There we go. I mean, that kind of basically looks okay. Could probably be better, but I'm not going to stress too much out about it right now. We're just doing quick and dirty stuff. Export this, call this skeletal mesh, scorpion tail. Let's make sure, just like real quick at this point, make sure that everything's good in the engine. quick test. Create an animation blueprint. Animation blueprints. For in Unreal, it's for animation. What a shader is for rendering, it's just like a little sub program that drives the pose of something. So. Just doing a quick test to set up like a little procedural animation. Wait, I want. Give it a little bit of motion. Here. So now it's just moving a bit. You can make that movement more extreme. Speed it up. So it's just using like a little IK controller to give it like a little fake idle. Not the greatest thing in the world. I just wanted to make sure it's doing something. Let's move on to our other parts. Oh, so I was going to add a... 3 o'clock. We should be able to get this mostly underway. Now let's go back. Let's get the chassis. So delete the tail, delete the ball, delete the limbs, delete the head. Fix this up just a little bit. Delete all my type, history. I'm actually gonna duplicate this. I'm gonna call it UCX mesh. By making like a convex mesh and giving it the UCX prefix in Maya, the Unreal importer will interpret that as collision. Oh, what's going on with this geometry here? Kind of sucks. Let me fix that. I think it's better for those sides to be parallel, right? That looks a little better. No, it doesn't. It's good enough. It's good enough. Don't worry about it. Cool. So we dupe it. UCX. Collision. Export all. This one's not a skeletal mesh, it's a static mesh. So it's like SM, Scorpion, chassis. Import Scorpion chassis. All those settings look great. Come in here, make the default material our new Scorpion material. No collision primitives though. Why did it not import the collision? Oh, did the name have to match? I bet. Let's see, I call this UCX mesh. And then I say export all. Scorpion chassis. And here I say re-import. Yeah, there we go. Now we have collision. So if I look at show simple collision, you can see it generated collision that matches the mesh because it was a copy. That's pretty useful if like the render mesh has like little greebles and things and you don't want those to show up in the gameplay collision. You can have this like low poly version that will be the actual collision. So now we can pull this out into the scene. How much should I scale this up by? Let's just call it 2.5. So we'll scale you up to 2.5. Pull it up a little bit. Maybe like angle it a little. I don't know. Is this a big enemy, or could this guy be a little bigger? I don't know. We'll like leave it at this guy. No, let's make it. Let's just make both of them bigger. Let's go 3x. How much I modeled it. export the head next. So scorpion head. We'll delete everything from this file that isn't the head. Move this head back. Center it like here. Let's fix some of this junky geometry. Actually delete some faces here. I could have done this with the tail too. Oh well. And let's actually take this edge loop and like back it up a bit. Oh, it's because it's in local. We need to modify, freeze, modify, reset, select vertices, got 0. We can actually go translation mode, translation to 0 as well. Oh, that didn't work. Close enough. While we're in here with this head, let's add like some angry eyes. We'll go back to modeling. And I'm just gonna... How do I want to add these? It's like this platonic solid thing. Tetrahedron. They can be like triangle eyes, so material. And we'll combine them. And let's make just like a quick joint hierarchy for this. So let's add one joint at the origin. That'll be a root joint. Basically right here. Cool, and then we can add skin. We're gonna paint weights. Okay, the eyes are on joint 1, and the main body. It's all on joint 1. Why is nothing on joint 2? That's weird. Skin, unbind skin, cube, bind skin. Skin weights. Yeah, once again, it only bound things to joint 1. So let's just insert joint 2. Edit influences, add influence. Oh, I want to say this one. There we go. Now we can see. Cool, so we can rotate this bone and that goes, and we can rotate this bone. Oh, that's right, those guys aren't following it, so these ones also need to have that influence. And then we can flood fill you on. I guess it didn't like it because it doesn't like skinning to tips of things, but that's fine. So this thing can look up and down, can look left and right. I kind of screwed up because there's not enough like geometry inside here. I wonder, is it gonna get mad if I try and edit this mesh after it's already been bound? Nice that it's double jointed so that like we get a little extra range of motion. So now we'll export all this. We'll call it SK Scorpion Head. Import it here. Oh no, what? All these files gotta go. It imported it on the wrong skeleton. Scorpion head, we don't want this skeleton. We want a new new skeleton. Then can I have it just, yeah, just don't import animations. Cool, now we have our own skeleton. Accept the naming convention. Material. We'll have glowing red eyes. So we can drag this out, make it free to match everything else. Next one, we've got the little leg and then we've got the big leg. So let's do the big leg. Let's try and center it on the attach point for the most part. Facing this way. This is some terrible topology that I made. This is like 3D crimes, but we'll rig it anyway. Line up? Okay. Bind skin. Now let's look at the mesh. Let's say paint skin weights. Here's where you can, quick way to rigid bind things, because you can see it's currently got all kinds of weird influences. We just want everything on this bone and then all the lower stuff on this bone. So what we can do is we can go to selection mode. We can say face. We can double click to pick all those connected faces. We can go back to paint and say flood. You can look at joint 2, selection mode, face, double click, go back to painting mode. Flood fill that. Now we have like a quick rigid bind. So we can go here and it's like burp, 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 burp. We can go here and it's like burp, 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 burp. Great. Export SK scorpion little leg. Go back in here. Import the little leg. We do not want to reuse a skeleton. We don't want any animations. We do want it facing down the x-axis. Come in here. Give you the scorpion material that we made. If you can hear my cat plaintively crying, maybe I can summon him with the treat noise. Cool. And by the way, the reason that I didn't just export this all like together as one big thing was that I want these to all be like pieces that we can like mix and match for other things. Why are these so fat? Was it this fat in here? I think it was. Did something get weird on import? 333. And it looked like this didn't have any weird scale on it. Oh, we're just gonna have fat assets for this temp thing. Maybe I can like point this back a little bit. Stuff doesn't have to be perfect, but I at least want it to look reasonably correct. Those don't have collision because they're skeletal meshes. When I'm setting them up as modules, I'll like fix that up. I'm already feeling like those legs are way bigger. What happened? Let's look at our like original reference. Yeah, look how much smaller those were compared to these. still feels really wrong. I'm kind of annoyed. I don't know why that happened. There had to be just something messed up with how I set these assets up. Oh, I forgot to save that F. Whoa. Oh, you know what? That was actually the big one. That's why this looks messed up. Yeah, I'm an idiot. These are the ones that go like this. That looks right. Too bad I forgot to save it. Okay, well here's what I can do. Big leg. Oh yeah, it was big leg. Okay, I was just confused about what I was making. Okay, little leg. This one, we delete everything. And I'm just gonna make one of these little legs and then just do both of them. Roughly on the origin. Kind of roughly rotate it. Once again, there's geometry crimes happening, but we're not going to worry about that. Oh, actually we want this pointing down the plus C axis because that's forward in Maya. This thing that I called little leg is actually the big leg. Actually want to import little leg where I put an underscore on here. We'll just rename this big. We'll rename this little, and then we'll import this. Make our own skeleton, don't import animations, face forward. Great. So here we go. Skeleton little leg. Just tedious renaming. These, make a 3x scale like everything else. Cats. Okay. So I think what we're gonna, here's what I'll do. I'm just gonna, yeah, whatever. We'll change this later. But so now we have all the pieces. Cool. So step one's complete. We made all the assets, although I haven't set up the collision. I think, or it's this tail? No, none of this has collision. Great. Actually, well, they do have these physics assets. I think it probably auto-generated some. I think maybe it's that by default they're not. Like everything, these like should all be. I have to change the preset, but okay, they're all labeled as physics actor. What if I make them all block all dynamic, like they're moving platforms? So I think they were all labeled as ragdolls. That's why my bullets were hitting them, but my character capsule wasn't. Cool. Now we're crashing into it's not accurate collision. I think I generated a bunch of spheres and capsules, but it's something. At least they're clipping through it. It just doesn't. Okay, so we have it in the scene, but it's not moving around like this dingus moves around, right? Like you can see, this one like tracks you and follows you and stuff. That's because each of these pieces, it's not just a like mesh, like an ordinary mesh sitting in the scene. They're actually a blueprint, which is like a smart object in Unreal. And you can see I've got like all of this like special markup that like gives them their behaviors. And so we need to do the same thing with all these skeleton pieces. So I need to make a series of blueprints that are all like mecha parts. So let's begin doing that. We can make a blueprint, say mecha. You can see these are all our like types of parts. let's just, for now, do a mecha part hip. Call this Scorpion Chassis. Oh wait, no, the chassis is not a skeletal mesh, it's a static mesh. There we go. We'll make your default scale 3. And we'll make your default collision, walk all dynamic. Cool, so first things first, this is, what was the type of this? BP, yeah, we'll use the Mecha Spider AI. So we can come in here. Where is it? Cruiser, Mecha Common. Hey, Batty. Don't eat paper. Rare appearance by our elder cat, Batty. Her full name is Batman, the movie, the ride, the cat. She's now trying to drink my tea. She's being a bad girl. No, don't go for my water bottle, Batty. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna like place this here, and then I'm gonna like one by one introduce these other parts that have been now turned into like smart parts. So here we go. Here's the hips, and then you can see this is like if I play, now that's actually moving around, right? Like that. This has now got intelligence. It's doing hip movement, which is like kind of like root movement with a little secondary movement. You can see the pink dot in the distance. That's like its AI, like the point of interest that it's interested in. So, one down, several to go. Andy says, a Batgirl? I mean, I guess you could say so, but her name's not Batgirl, it's Batman. And she's not a bat, she's a cat. She's a girl, but she's also an old lady. She's also a baby. I think, here, let's try and do, I think we're gonna like hit a point where like the code is not actually handling these assets correctly because I set them up in a very janky way for this one where like I was just rigging up kit pieces. I didn't actually have skeletons for anything. So let me just check. Yeah, okay, my mecha part leg has a limb component, this like kinematic chain component, which is a thing I made. So, unfortunately, okay, I can like make these, let me think. Yeah, you know what, I was gonna say I can like temp in some stuff, but let's not temp in some stuff. Let's actually just do stuff right. But first, let's sort of yank this over here. here, I can at least grab all these other pieces for now. We can say attach to the chassis. This will at least get us like a very non-articulate. Okay, now it's at least all the pieces are moving. Oh no, I forgot that little joint. Attach to. Oh, it says it's compatible. Yeah, it thinks this is static. Cool. So like step one, it's like moving around. It's kind of weird. The legs aren't going. And the tail isn't smart. It's like a can, a little like IK oscillation. And the head is not looking at me. Much to improve. You know what? I bet I could at least make that head better. New blueprint, actor, scorpion head. I think this, okay. Add skeletal mesh. We'll call you scorpion head. This guy. Bring this scorpion head out. Oh, we want to give it that default scale 3. Attach to the chassis. Make sure you're perfectly on the center. Maybe we point down just a little bit. So this is going to look silly because it's not actually driving the bones we made, but and wait, let's check out here. Yeah, actually, let's enable aggro so that it will actually acknowledge me. Okay, so it's working, but for some reason it's not pointing at me. I wonder what the deal with that is. I must have done something in my other blueprint. I have clearance, I can get underneath it. That's pretty cool. Okay, so we're getting pretty close to 4 o'clock, and the next thing that I'm going to be doing is getting the code that drives these legs to also drive these legs. Unfortunately, that involves refactoring, which is like a programmer magic word for doing really tedious, like, you know, moving stuff around and renaming stuff. But like not functionally changing things, just structurally changing things. So it's like a lot of boring time spent just in these files, which doesn't make for good broadcasting. So I think we're like probably at like a pretty good place to leave it right now. We at least got like all the pieces. We kind of like, you know, just sort of review. We like sketched them out. We went into Maya. We sort of turned those sketches into an extremely rough blockout. We imported all those blockout pieces into the engine, and then we started on the process of nesting those pieces underneath like game objects that know how to do, you know, movement and animation and sort of like AI. I'll keep working on this. A little later I'll post a video once I have the like legs and stuff actually going. And I'll probably be making for the tail like a brand new like type of mecha part. Like you know, a thing that can reach and point, right? So that we can like just like put a gun on the end of it. And then it can do all kinds of gun stuff. Yeah, this one's like relatively straightforward, but I hope to like, I don't want them all to be kind of like big bugs like this, so I'll probably, the next one will be like a chicken walker or a Destroid or something, but the hope is that in this test scene that we're shopping around to gauge like interest from partners, that like we can like have a whole bunch of these enemy setups. It's like sort of part of the pitch is that they're like a regular part of the world, right? And like, you know, part of what's nice about having all these pieces being like modular like this is I don't have to like go back into Maya if we want like a version in which the front limbs are like way bigger or something, right? We can have just sort of like automatic variations of all the different like kit pieces and things, so that like in the same way that you like might like, you know, have a small number of like environment kit pieces for making a city, and then the level designer like builds out a whole city with those. We'll have like a bunch of little kit pieces for making like big robots, and then designer can go in and make up, you know, like a bunch of different big robots. So like hopefully when you're playing the game, this will just sort of like be like part of the regular texture of the combat is like encountering like, you know, big or sort of like novel enemies that like change up how the shooting and dodging goes, and it's not just like this is a set piece boss and there's only gonna be 5 or 10 of them in the whole game. Like it'd be cool if there's like dozens of them. It's just like you're seeing them constantly. Right? So that's the plan. Thanks for watching. As always, you can follow me on Twitter. You can follow Tiny Galactic at Tiny Galactic. It's pretty easy to remember. We have a Discord link there if you want to have just like the general Ask Me Anything thread. We do this every Friday for the most part, from 2 to 4, although we'll be out in 2 weeks for GDC. But hopefully we still have another one next week and we'll have some fun stuff ready for that. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I don't know, what does everyone else say? Like and subscribe? Okay, I'm gonna sign off now. I'm just rambling. This is fun. Bye!